Here we go. Welcome back, boys, to the YouTube and what is a very, very glorious day in Blackpool town. Just sat here with my hand in the sun on the part of my desk. Well, on the part of my desk where there is sun. Just feeling that heat is really triggering my impulses to want to go and buy a packet of Marlboro Golds. That is definitely one of the demons that I have, is second the sun comes out, Jesus Christ, the only thing I want to do is drink coffee and smoke cigarettes. So that is one of the demons I'll have to overcome today, is saying no to the itch would be the best way to describe it. Cortado, by the way, if nobody's drunk them, what a fantastic little beverage. I am quite the coffee connoisseur. I do really, really like coffees, but I've never really got into espressos because, you know, they're a bit fucking strong, aren't they? Put hairs on your chest. But this, it's an espresso. Obviously, espresso size, look how small it is, but it does have some milk mixed in, so it's not like as completely bitter. But it gives you a good hit, because you drink it in a few sips and then before you know it, you feel that caffeine, motherfucker. So what are we doing today? Today I'm going to run you through a full day of eating on my rest day, which is not something I've typically shown yet. Now it is quite a lower day of food. We have about a 600 to 700 calorie difference between my rest day and training days. Typically for me, pushing up is something that I find more difficult. I actually find dieting and cutting fucking pretty easy in the grand scheme of things, but I always hit points in my push-up where appetite just dies. And obviously me and Ali have worked together for a couple of years now, so we've had growth phases, fat loss phases, so we've learned my body a lot more. So one of the things that we're going to be doing this time is having a big gap between my training day food and my rest day food, so that way on days like today when it's my rest day, I will be hungry because my food's much lower, so that way when I go back into my training days, my appetite has rebounded to some degree. I mean, at the point as it is anyway though, like, appetite is in a very good spot. I'm not struggling with food whatsoever. I'm actually hungry for all my food. But we are just more forward thinking because our long-term goal is still just to add as much fucking muscle as we can. So we want to spend as long as we can pushing up. On that matter, we are currently 12 weeks post-diet and I'm at 179.8 pounds this morning. So that's just under 8 pounds heavier because the cut finished at 172 pounds. So it's 8.8 pounds, I think. No, 7.8 pounds. Fucking shit math. 7.8 pounds up in 12 weeks. So we're 12 weeks post-diet, but we are 8 weeks into this surplus. So pretty perfectly executed. How's it all going? Appetite-wise, food-wise, pretty bang on. Sleep's in a good spot. Last week we did take our deload. Well, our first deload, which was just a very simple 4 days off the gym. And I didn't even realize I needed a deload until my logbook got fucked. For a good few weeks, I was noticing, like, I was like, fucking hell, I'm really tired all the time. And then I was noticing with work, productivity levels were coming down quite significantly. Like, I was having lots of tasks to do for the day and getting to the end of the day and being like, fucking hell, like, I've not got through all my work. Like, I wouldn't have the brain capacity, the concentration, if you will, like, had lots of brain fog. And then my logbooks stopped progressing. Like, I had 3 weeks in a row where my dumbbell press, I didn't progress a rep, didn't progress weight. But I do think my execution got a bit better. But on that last week, the last week before we took the deload, even just picking up the dumbbells off the rack, I was like, fucking hell, these felt heavy. And then I had 2 sessions in a row where I actually started regressing reps and getting weaker. And then I sat back and thought, how can I need a deload? I've only been pushing up 12 weeks. But then I realized that half of my prep, like the back set, fucking hell, restart. The second half of my prep was just carrying on. These 12 fucking hell, these Jesus Christ, I need a few more cortados. These 12 weeks now have just continued on from my second half of prep. I only took my last deload halfway through prep, so my prep was what, 12 weeks? So I had 6 weeks there, plus me these 12 weeks pushing up. So I've had like 18 weeks continuously just banging the hammer. So it makes sense that I would need a deload around about now. So I took 4 days off the gym, and then this week I just feel completely refreshed and replenished, back to progressing lifts, and I'm feeling absolutely fine again. Everything is cruising, to say the least. So everything is going well. Friday today, it is currently 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be taking Friday afternoons off. Started a new book, getting things done, The Art of Productivity. This is one of the main things that I'm fucking massive on at the moment. Everything training wise, I'm fucking like a laser at the minute. Well, I have been for fucking as long as I can remember. I don't miss a single thing, you know. Nothing. I don't miss a single thing. But work is something that I want to get better at. I want to be like a laser at work. I want to just be able to bang, 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 consecutively be able to just work like 10, 12-hour shifts, like, but high productive shifts. Which, like, don't get me wrong, I do work a lot. Like, typically, like, for the most part of the last 2 years, I've been working like 7 days a week. But since I've had a girlfriend over the last few weeks / probably a couple of months actually, since I've been pushing up since I got back from Africa, I've been taking Saturdays off just so I can dedicate some more time to spending with her. So, because obviously, like, I spend a lot of time in this office, and it's only fair at the end of the day. And I noticed in those 6 days, I am actually more productive, because I was finding that if I was working 7 days a week, they may not be the best 7 days, because, like, I've had this, you know, hustler's mentality, whatever you want to call it, of just like, need to work, need to work, need to work. So because I'm a bit more productive having that 1 day off, I thought, you know what, I'm going to trial taking Friday afternoons off as well and seeing if that has any impact. So I'm going to work until 2 o'clock on Fridays and then take the rest of the evening off. And then that way I'll have like a Friday evening on my own, so I could just like spend an actual evening just like doing whatever I want to do. Probably playing World of Warcraft. And then on the Saturdays, I'll spend that with the missus. And then I've got like half a day to myself a week, a full day to myself with a girlfriend, and then the rest of the time to fucking attack business and my physique. So it is a late meal one today because, like I said, I'm going to be hungry. So I want to make sure I push my food back a little bit because, as you know, I don't like going to bed hungry. So I'm going to have meal one, probably about 11 o'clock, and you'll see me there for it. Adios. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, boys. This one's going to be short and sweet. Why? Because I'm fucking starving. The time is 20 past 11. Did some recording for some content. So went on later than I intended, not the end of the world. But I'm so hungry and I'm so game to eat this meal. I absolutely love my rest day breakfast as well as the rest of my meals. So what are we working with? We've got a 3-egg omelette here with 50 grams of ham and 15 grams of reduced fat cheese, 30%. Then we just have some veggies with some onions and peppers in there. Then 150 grams of sourdough with 20 grams of peanut butter and 10 grams of honey. And then we have 100 grams of berries consisting of a 50-50 split of raspberries and then blueberries underneath. And then we have the supplements. So, like I said, short and sweet. Macros for everything, I'll spill at the end. But I'm hungry, boys. I need to scran it. So I'll see you for meal 2. Adios. Okay, boys, we are back in the game after a very lovely walk. It's been it is a fantastic day outside. So, quick 4,000 steps, kicking the curb. I came back and had a game plan call with one of my Operation Spartan boys. One of the things that I do when Operation Spartan comes to an end is I just get all the guys on a call, a little one-to-one call, just so, first of all, I can see how they found the experience of Operation Spartan, just so I can refine it and make any possible tweaks to it if need be, because I'm always in the market for making my service better. And then I'll just make sure that they're all set and ready to rock for afterwards. They know what they're doing and they've got any advice that they need, laid out any goals that they may potentially have. This mic is pissing me off. So yeah, had that call, and now it's time for my oats. And after what was a lovely walk and a lovely call, I quickly got very pissed off making this meal. So let's just show you it. I eat these every single day. My protein oats. Now, what's in here? Well, there's supposed to be 80 grams of oats, but weighed out my oats, I had 67 grams left. 13 grams short, which means I've got 13 grams of oats worth of carbs to play with for later in the day, which I'm going to have to try and figure out what they should be spent on. Not ideal. Anyway, the other ingredients that we've got making up this masterpiece: 67 grams of oats, 150 grams of berries consisting of raspberries, Jesus Christ, raspberries, strawberries and blueberries. And then the most delicious Banoffee Isopro whey paste. That Isopro whey from Trained by JP, honestly, Trained by JP's protein powders mix very well, but this Isopro, I'm not joking, nothing like it. It just mixes so well, but so it should. That bag is 80 quid off the website for 1.8 kilo. It's fucking mental, to be honest. But I'm someone who does struggle with lactose, and that is from grass-fed cows. And the quality of the isolate, it's just got the lowest amount of lactose in. So I don't actually have any digestive issues having this protein powder. And the Banoffee flavour, fucking hell, it's just so good. So good. For anyone who used to train in Bulldogs Gym back in the day, they used to do this Matrix mass gainer, and it was Banoffee flavour. And I used to love it for years and years and years. I used to just love that flavour. And then this tastes just like it. It's fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to smash this down, and then I'll see you lot for meal 3. Ah, yes. And the dusting on top, actually, cinnamon. That is the secret to very good protein oats. Cinnamon dusting at the end. Adios. And we are back in the kitchen after a little cooking stint. We have just prepped meals 4 and 5. They are currently in here in the slow cooker. As you know, I always meal prep 2 different meals, 2 different times a week. It's usually Monday or Tuesday, but it's just fallen a little bit differently this week with meals that I've had left over. So that's in there now, and then I'll do my bolognese another day. No bolognese on the menu today, actually. That's only training days, but today, this meal, which is one I always look forward to, because I have 3 rest days a week, so this is a nice meal to have 3 days a week. It's good, mixes it up. We are on with steak and, well, I say steak and chips. I've not cut these ones like chips. So we've got a sirloin steak here, 200-ish grams. We've got a pepper there for our veg micronutrients, and then potatoes. It's 300 grams of potato. Now, these actually all look the same colour, but I use 2 different types of potatoes in there. I use 150 grams of sweet potato, 150 grams of white potato. Just feel it really mixes it up. And then sauce, sriracha mayo. Now, I don't use a lot of that stuff. I don't really use a lot of sauces. Never used red sauce ever, whereas now I have a little bit, but not necessarily on every meal. And if I do, I only ever just have enough to get the meal down. Like, I see some people smother their sauces in food. I even hear people say "Oh, I couldn't eat a meal without sauce." And it's like, for me, if the food you're making is actually enjoyable, it should just be nice without a sauce. Like, I could happily eat this without the sauce completely, and I think it would be still nice. But sauce just adds a little something. But you got to bear in mind as well, a lot of guys, they smother their food in sauce, and the amount of calories they might be intaking from it are just excessive, to say the least. It's just wasted calories at the end of the day. Whereas you can get some of them which are pretty good. I usually have Cholula, which is low calorie, but I think on a meal like this, you don't really want hot sauce with it, do you? Just a little spicy mayo. We'll will add a little zing to it. Time is now, it's actually pretty late, to be fair, going into this meal. After a little World of Warcraft stun. 5:30. So this is meal 3. And then I've got 2 meals left between now and bedtime. Will probably be Friday night, maybe 11 o'clock-ish. So why does that keep happening? So yeah, I'm going to dig into this now, and I'll see you for meal 4, which, although meal 4 and 5 are both in the slow cooker, there will be a bit of difference in how they are served, which is one of the biggest things, like when you're on a meal plan. Like, some guys say they get bored on meal plans, they find it restrictive, but it's as boring as you make it. Like, you can change your meals any other ways. Like with this potato here, as you can see, it's like diced up. I could have turned it into chips. I could have turned it into mash. If I didn't want potatoes, I just could have had rice, anything. There's so many ways to just mix your meals up, but you just keep the bulk of it the same. Rotate your veg every single week. Peppers. I have this meal 3 times a week. I could have peppers one day, sweet corn another day, broccoli another day. And then that's 3 different meals. It's not even like I'm eating the same thing. So you have to get imaginative with your food. And the meal plan just gives you the complete spine. Like, everyone, if it fits your macros, you're constantly thinking about what you've got to eat. Whereas you could just eat a meal plan and just, like I said, change stuff every now and then when you get bored. But you don't have to think, eating on a meal plan is restrictive, because you can have a different version of the meal every single week. Anyway, there's no challenge on people. One thing I will say though, all the best physiques, all those guys eat a meal plan. So if it fits your macros, well, not that I endorse if it fits your macros, but just tracking your calories and being a little bit more flexible. Yes, it will work to a point, but I personally think to take you to that next level, or just to be way more accurate and maximize your progression, meal plans are far superior. That's why all the best physiques usually come from guys who are on a meal plan. Right, let me eat this. That's to do it. And here we are, back for meal 4 after the slow cooker meal prep was done. Now, following on from the last video when I said about chopping things round and getting more different meals out of what's supposed to be your same boring restrictive meal. So this meal, it was actually supposed to be potato. I have 400 grams of potato on rest day. Now, in the last meal, I had 300. Because I'm supposed to have 200 in the last meal, then I know 200 in this meal. But this meal, as you can see, isn't really the sort of meal that I want to be having potatoes with. Well, most of the time it isn't anyway. Sometimes I have rice, but what I decided to do today was put 100 grams of the potatoes from this meal with the last one, so I could have a bigger meal with the steak. And then with the other potatoes, I'll have corn cakes instead, which these are actually banging. There's just like a cracker, basically. And here, my meal prep is chicken breast or chicken mince, and then I have multiple different veggies in there. I have onions, peppers, broccoli, baby corn, peas, green beans, literally loads. I mix together fucking loads of different veggies in there. And then a little bit of cream cheese, 100 grams across 7 different meals. Some tomato puree, about 40 grams across those meals. A stock cube, and then just a shit ton of seasoning. And then that makes 7 meals for me, which usually this meal I'll have with either rice or corn cakes, or rice and corn cakes, because you end up just getting a little cracker. It's almost like a curry consistency, so when you have it with rice, it's fantastic. These corn cakes, by the way, fantastic, from Aldi. 2 ingredients in them. Literally just pure carbohydrates and hardly any fat. So, meal 4. Time is about 8 o'clock, which is pretty late. 10 to 8. And then I'll probably have the last meal around 10 o'clock and then roll into bed to fall asleep at 11. See you in the next one. And here we go, back in the lab for a very late last meal of the day. I'm ready to roll into bed. It is way past schedule for last meal. I usually like to be eating my last meal like 9, 10 at the latest, but 20 past 10, which is far from ideal. Now, because it's so late, I ended up falling down the rabbit hole on a certain video game. So, because I'm a bit tired, on emergencies this will happen. Now, this meal was supposed to be 80 grams of dry weight rice. As we said earlier, like, it's about mixing the meals up. So this meal is actually the same meal. Oh, fucking hell, I can't work the camera. It's the same meal. As you can see, the chicken with the veg and the creamy Cajun sauce. So I'm going to have 3 corn cakes with it and replace for some of that rice. And with the leftover calories, just something quick and easy. Pip and nut bar, an oat bar, peanut butter oat bar. So, I don't have stuff like that all the time. Funny story, actually. Well, it's not really a funny story. It's actually a pretty sad story. Because when I was at the end of prep, my holiday prep, I was very much, you know, cravings were high. So one of the things that I used was stuff like protein bars to satisfy the craving while still getting some nutritional value. So towards the end of prep, like, I didn't want to eat like shit. Like, I wouldn't just eat like a shitty bar. I spent a very, very good while trying to find the best bars, if you will, that would just like be a fruit and nut bar or an oat bar, but from an ingredient standpoint, actually be of good quality, you know, as few ingredients as possible. And these were one of them, the pip and nut. There's not many ingredients here at all. I think there's like 5 or 6 ingredients, all from like whole sources. So they're all right, but it's not something that I have every day, or even, to be honest, or even every week. Maybe like once a week, maybe I'll end up having one of these in replace for something if something's happened with one of my meals, or it's, well, never really gets late when I eat. This is a very rare occurrence, but just in case anything happens, it could be like when I'm out, can't stick to one of my meals, or can't make the carb sources, because typically with all my meals, I just make the carb sources on the day. But the actual meals, the meal prep, like my freezer and fridge right now is just full of meal preps. So these will always be good to go whenever. But that, I'd class it as a carb source. Yeah, my macros aren't going to be exactly like my meal plan today. There's going to be, with stuff like this going in, it's going to mean that my fats are slightly higher and my carbs are a little lower. But, you know, it's one meal of the day. It's not the end of the world at all. And when this fat sources and carb source from the bar are still coming from, you know, good quality sources, it's not a problem at all. But anyway, that is everything. Thank you again for joining me on what's been... Oh, these corn cakes are fantastic, by the way. Got to get on them. Even if you're not going to have them with something like this. What I like to do, especially what I like to do at prep, is put honey on them and cinnamon. It's a great snack. Great snack. Because it's just all clean carbs as well. Anyway, as I was saying, thank you for joining along, and I'll see you in the next one in a bit.